Once upon a time, there lived a great big, fun-loving elephant named Effie. Though she was young, she had great big ears and long white tusks. Life in the jungle was rather boring for Effie until she spotted a sign hanging from a vine. "Come one, come all, dance tonight at the water's edge." Oh, those crazy monkeys, thought Effie. They always have so many activities planned for the kingdom. Perhaps it's time I do something different for a change. After all, I love to sing and dance, and this might be just what I need. When she arrived at the dance, she was happy to find so many different animals from all around the jungle. There were many monkeys. After all, it was their party. Then, of course, there were a few two-toed tree sloths who were always hanging out at the water's edge. But there were also some large hippos, a couple of tigers, a few crazy dancing gazelles, a leaping lemur, and even a few snakes. The boa constrictors may not have feet, but can those snakes wiggle to the beat? Once Effie arrived, she too could hardly stand still once she heard the fun, rhythmic music. The beat caught her attention, and off she danced into the crowd. Whammo! Effie, who was twirling and twirling out of control at the end of that tune, bounced right into another elephant. "Pardon me," howled the other elephant. "I beg your pardon, sir," said Effie. "I just get so wound up from this wonderful music that I sometimes forget myself and my footing." "While I admire your enthusiasm, miss, I do think you should at least try to stay on your feet." "My sincerest apologies," added Effie. "I'm really a much better singer than I am a dancer. Anyway, my name is Effie. Who are you?" "Well, I'm surprised you don't know. I'm a famous elephant in the—" "Are you Babar?" interrupted Effie. "No." "Horton?" "No." "Colonel Haffy?" "Certainly not." "Dumbo?" "Please." "Mr. Snuffleupagus?" "Come now, he's a woolly mammoth." "Manny?" "Also a mammoth." "Listen, I'm a member of the circus, and my name is Edward J. Pachyderm, but you can call me Eddie." "It's wonderful to meet you, Eddie. Just so you know, this isn't how I normally meet other elephants, but I'm so very glad to bump into you tonight." "A singing elephant?" asked Eddie. "You know, we sure could use someone like you." "In the circus?" asked Effie. "Why, yes, of course." "Why, I love the circus. I daydream about it all the time. But I certainly am not talented enough to be a part of something like that." "Well, certainly you are. All you have to do is pass an audition." An audition? No way. That would be terrifying. No more terrifying than performing in front of thousands of people, added Eddie. But I love to sing in front of people. I'm not worried about that. But the dancing, well, that might be a little bit too scary for me. Nonsense, said Eddie. You just need to get some dancing lessons. Follow me, and I'll introduce you to one of the best dancing teachers in the jungle, Leonardo the lemur. Oh, look, he's just over there. Later that night, Effie walked home with new dreams about being in the circus. But what's more, she couldn't get that handsome elephant Eddie out of her mind. He was so charming, Effie thought to herself as she walked under the starlit night sky, and so helpful and wise. I so want to be a part of that circus, especially so that I may see Eddie again. Finally, Effie reached her bed and had one last deep thought before falling asleep. Wow, spoke Effie softly. I think I'm falling in love. And with that thought in mind, Effie began to sing. The next day, Effie awoke with a new energy and enthusiasm as she bounced about getting ready for her dance lesson. I hope I don't completely make a fool of myself, thought Effie. What will the other animals think? I hope Eddie won't be there, but what if Leonardo, the dance instructor, tells him what a horrible dancer I am? Effie worked herself up into quite a tizzy. Finally, she took a few deep breaths and tried to remember the big picture. After all, thinking big is what elephants do best. Effie arrived 15 minutes early with her dance shoes and tights. She had an open mind and was ready to learn anything Leonardo wanted to teach her. Thank you very much, Leonardo. I learned so much today, said Effie. Now, Effie, replied Leonardo. You still have so much to work on, but I agree that you have come a very long way in just a few short hours. Do you think I'm ready for the big circus audition? Well, it's worth a shot. Thanks again, Leonardo. Good luck, Effie. Let me know how it goes. Effie waved goodbye and went home to rest and daydream about the audition. The days came and went quickly, and Effie barely had enough time to practice. Before she knew it, she was at the circus audition, standing in line with other animals, all hoping to fulfill their dreams. We're running behind, screeched the man in charge of auditions. Make sure you filled out your audition card correctly. Come on now, don't dilly-dally. Let's go, let's go, let's go! That man doesn't seem very nice, thought Effie as she started to feel butterflies in her stomach. Come on! I can't get nervous now. I have to stay calm. And Effie took another deep breath. You, pointing at Effie, you're next. Remember, the dance number is first, then comes the singing. Are you ready? Effie gave a small nod and was led into the circus tent. It wasn't at all as she had imagined it. The circus tent was empty, except for 3 men sitting very high in the bleachers near the blinding lights. It was very hot, and Effie's feet began to sweat. Then, before she knew it, the music started, and she wasn't even ready. She tried to catch up to the fast music with the dance routine that she had practiced, but she couldn't. She leaped and bounded, wobbled and teetered, slipped and fell, and really just wanted to start all over. But she wasn't able to catch up, and soon the music was over. That didn't go very well, thought Effie as she breathed heavily. But now I'll really show them what I can do with my singing. Effie walked to the middle of the stage, prepared herself for her song, took a deep breath, and, "Thank you, next please," spoke one of the men near the top of the tent. Effie was about to ask why and beg for a second chance, but the man from outside the tent began waving her to come back out. "Tough break, miss," said the audition clerk. "We're running a little behind schedule, and I think the committee thought they'd seen enough. Thanks for coming out." Effie was very disappointed. She was so upset she could barely think straight. And at that same time, a loud group of crazy circus monkeys came walking around the corner. "A dancing elephant?" shouted one of the monkeys. How silly indeed, pointed another one. Go take some dancing lessons, they shouted. And the monkeys laughed and pointed and jumped all over Effie until she could stand it no more. She simply snapped and began to chase the monkeys all around the circus grounds. Hissed a lioness, who normally puts a man's head in her mouth at the circus. Can't you see that you're waking up my napping kittens? While Effie was chasing after these monkeys in a furious rage, she lost sight of herself and went pounding past a den of sleeping lion kittens. Not a group of animals you want to disturb. How dare you pass through here with your big feet so quickly and loudly? Asked the lioness. Have you no respect for others? She growled. I'm so very sorry, apologized Effie. It's just, and before Effie could offer an excuse for what she had done, she figured it might just be best to fix the problem. I will sing your kittens back to sleep. I know a wonderful lullaby. And Effie began to sing with more passion than she had ever sung before. She sang from the heart, partly because she wanted to soothe the waking kittens and please the lioness, but mostly because she was feeling sorry for herself about her awful audition. Worst of all, she knew that she would not be a part of the circus and that she would never see Eddie ever again. Effie didn't know it, but while she was singing her beautiful lullaby with her eyes closed, a crowd of people, including Eddie and some other animals, began to gather around. The men from the audition stepped out of the tent for a break and also wanted to see what was going on. They heard the beautiful music coming from the lion's den, so they rushed over to see what it was. That was beautiful, spoke Eddie softly. Oh, Effie said, startled. I didn't know you were listening. I didn't know any of you were listening. I was listening, spoke the man in charge of the auditions. Effie, that may have been the most beautiful song I have ever heard. Would you like to sing for my circus every night? I would be honored, trumpeted Effie. Shh, snapped the lioness. I'm sorry, apologized Effie again. I'm glad you will be joining the circus, Miss Effie, but please take your celebration somewhere else. And off the crowd went, dancing and frolicking about the circus grounds in celebration of Effie's new appointment. As they paraded around, Eddie began to hold Effie's tail. Then he stopped and stood up on his hind legs. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my new friend, Effie. She is going to join our circus as the first ever singing elephant. Please come welcome her to the circus. And so went the tale of how Effie, the singing elephant, joined the circus.